The Las Vegas Raiders are back in action, and today marked a big step. The first official open day of OTAs, organized team activities. For the first time this season, the media was allowed inside the facility. And yes, we've already got some exciting updates to talk about. But before we dive into the latest news, take a quick moment, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss anything about your Raiders. Done? Let's roll. Now, let's talk defense, because the Raiders showed some real fire today. In just one practice session, they grabbed not one, not two, but 4 interceptions. That's right, 4 picks. Some fans might worry that it makes the offense look bad, but let's flip the script. This is a big win for the defense. One of those plays stood out in a major way. According to reporter Tashan Reed, on the very first snap of 11-on-11 drills, Jeremy Chinn, one of the Raiders' newest additions, picked off Gino Smith with a sharp read over the middle. That's huge. First play, first pick. Now remember, Chinn was brought in to make plays just like this. He's already making his presence felt, and it's exactly what Raider Nation was hoping for. With big changes in the secondary, especially after Trayvon Moehrigg's departure, Chinn stepping up early is a great sign. Some might say, hey, shouldn't we be worried about Gino Smith throwing a pick? Not really. This is practice. It's where quarterbacks test throws, push boundaries, and try new things. In a real game, Gino might play it safe and take a sack. But in OTAS, there's nothing to lose and everything to learn. So let's keep the focus where it belongs, on a defense that came to play. Now yes, it's just practice, but don't underestimate what these moments mean for the Raiders, especially for the young players. Mistakes happen, and that's exactly how you learn. For someone like Brock Bowers, going up for tough, contested catches is part of the job. Every rep he gets helps him improve those 50-50 battles. And let's not forget, the Raiders are installing a brand new offense. It's a fresh system under Chip Kelly, and that means everyone's still learning, from the quarterback to the wideouts. Timing, route depth, reading defenses, these things don't click overnight. That's why when Gino Smith threw a pick on the very first play, it wasn't the end of the world. It's part of the process. But that wasn't his only one. Gino threw another interception, this time against the second-team defense. And it was linebacker Tommy Eichenberg who stepped up. The second-year player read the flat route perfectly, jumped in front of the pass, and snatched the ball out of the air like a seasoned pro. And here's the best part. Reports say he could have taken it all the way for 6. A pick 6 in practice? That's a confidence boost if we've ever seen one. This is the kind of thing Raiders fans should be excited about. For years, the team has struggled to develop linebackers from later rounds. While other teams find stars like Fred Warner or hidden gems under Pete Carroll's watch, the Raiders haven't had the same success. But Eichenberg? He's showing signs he could be different. It's early, sure, but making plays like this in practice shows instinct, discipline, and growth. Under Patrick Graham's defense, we might finally be seeing some of these young defenders take the next step. And although this came with the second-team defense, it was against many of the first-team offensive players. That's no small thing. Let's talk more about what went down in practice, because the Raiders' defense kept making noise. Sure, we don't always get the full picture during OTAs. Sometimes the defense is told to work on certain plays, like jumping routes or baiting the quarterback. So when a pass gets picked off, it could be part of the drill itself. But even without all the details, what matters is the execution, and the Raiders' defense executed. Let's break down that third interception. This time, it was Chris Smith II, the second-year safety, who made the big play. Another young guy stepping up. That's 2 picks now by the second-team defense, and both by players drafted late who are trying to prove they belong. Chris Smith's interception shows he's still developing, still hungry. And the momentum didn't stop there. Another turnover came when Aiden O'Connell, the second-year quarterback, had a pass intercepted by safety Lonnie Johnson. That's 4 interceptions in total for the day, by players who didn't see much action last season or are new additions to the team. Let's name them again: Jeremy Chinn, new to the Raiders; Tommy Eichenberg, second-year linebacker; Chris Smith II, second-year safety; Lonnie Johnson, also new to the roster. This is exactly what fans should be watching for: young defenders and new faces making plays early. It's one thing to read about development, it's another to see it unfold on the field. These are the guys fighting for roles, for snaps, and they're showing they're ready to compete. Even Pete Carroll, observing from the sidelines, reportedly mentioned that the Raiders' defense won the day. It wasn't a blowout, but the edge was clear, and that speaks volumes about how this unit is coming together under Patrick Graham. No overreaction, it's still early. But 4 interceptions in one day, that's a sign this defense might be turning a corner. Let's shift gears and talk about something that rarely gets the spotlight but is absolutely crucial: the Raiders' offensive line. Recent footage from practice gave fans a closer look at how the linemen are lining up, and these details can tell us a lot about the team's strategy going into the season. First, you can tell which position a player is working on just by their stance. For example, when a lineman has his right foot back and right hand down, it's a clear sign he's practicing for the right guard or right tackle spot. On the other hand, when the left foot is back, that player is prepping to play on the left side of the line. One of the first standout names, Colton Miller. No surprise here, he stepped in with that signature left tackle stance, solid, reliable, and ready to anchor that blind side once again. Then came a surprise: Dylan Parham. And let me tell you, he looked massive in this clip. Whether it was the angle or the muscle he's added in the offseason, one thing's clear: he's locked in at left guard. The way he's set up, the position of his hand, the balance in his stance, it all confirms he's prepping to hold down that interior spot. Next up, we saw Jackson, Johnson, and DJ Glaze all getting reps. Jackson showed strong positioning at right guard, while Johnson lined up to snap with his right hand. Classic center form. Then there's Glaze, dropping into a right tackle stance, showing quick feet and a solid base. These drills might look basic, but for coaches and analysts, they're loaded with information. You can see who's being trained for what and who's starting to rise in the pecking order. The big takeaway: the Raiders are building their wall up front and the depth is already starting to show. These positional clues are subtle, but they paint a picture of where this offensive line is heading, and that's exactly what you want to see this time of year. At Raiders OTAs, it's becoming clear that even simple drills can reveal a lot about the team's direction. You can pick up on who's lining up where, what kind of plays are being installed, and how the offense is shaping up, just by watching the little details. Even without being on the field, these clips and updates are painting a picture. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. Gino Smith and the Raiders receivers are starting to find their rhythm. From deep throws to tight intermediate passes, the chemistry is slowly building. And this is exactly what fans want to see: the offense clicking during early reps. Some beat reporters even noted that the offense held its own during 11-on-11, which is a great sign. One particular drill showed the Raiders working on a classic layered route concept. The quarterback, set in shotgun, had Dylan Laub in the backfield. Laub ran a route into the flat while the tight end, Michael Mayer, cut out on a crisp 10-yard out route. Outside, Trey Tucker sprinted deep, not as the main target, but as the guy clearing space. Tucker's route wasn't about getting the ball, it was about opening the field. By pushing the cornerback deep and to the outside, he helped create a passing lane underneath. That's smart football. Small details like an outside release can make or break a play. If he cuts inside, the corner can clog up the passing window. But outside, that clears space for the running back or the tight end to make a play. In that drill, Smith hit Mayer cleanly. Mayer looked sharp, leaner, quicker, more confident. You can tell he's taken a step forward from last season. If he keeps this up, he could be a major factor in the Raiders' offense this year. We also caught a glimpse of Brock Bowers running similar routes, smooth, controlled, and explosive out of his breaks. These aren't just simple drills, they're foundational plays, the kind that show up in real games. So far, the Raiders are showing encouraging signs on both sides of the ball. The chemistry is building, and the execution is getting sharper. There's still a long road ahead, but if these early practices are any indication, the offense is starting to find its groove. Let's shift the focus to one of the most exciting developments at Raiders OTAs, the deep ball. Reports coming out of camp are buzzing about Gino Smith's performance. One thing is becoming clear: Smith's deep passing is turning heads. Accuracy might not be his calling card on every throw, but when it comes to launching it 25-plus yards downfield, this guy delivers. He's got the arm strength and touch to make it work, and now he's doing it in silver and black. According to Levi Edwards, Smith completed a high-pointed jump ball to tight end Michael Mayer, followed by a 50-yard bomb to Trey Tucker for a touchdown. Think about that. That's the kind of vertical attack the Raiders have lacked in recent years. Now they might finally have a quarterback who can stretch the field with consistency. Trey Tucker, in particular, is worth watching. He's entering his third season, a critical year for any young receiver. He's known for his explosiveness, but he's often lacked the consistent usage and quarterback chemistry to truly shine. That could change now. With Gino under center, Tucker is getting deep targets and making plays. This might be the breakout season Raider Nation has been waiting for. And the Raiders aren't just relying on Tucker. Rookie wideout Dante Thornton Jr. was brought in to push the competition. It's a strategic move. If Tucker doesn't cement himself as a long-term piece, Thornton is right there waiting for his shot. Either way, the Raiders win: speed, depth, and options. It's not just the receivers making noise. Running back Ashton Jeanty is flashing in the passing game. One clip showed Smith hitting Jeanty over the middle on a quick strike. It looked like a sight-adjusted route, meaning Jeanty read the defense mid-play and adapted his route to create space. For a rookie to execute that cleanly, that's impressive. Jeanty's showing he can be more than a traditional back. He could be a mismatch weapon out of the backfield. These are just OTA moments, sure, but they're meaningful. You're seeing players in the right roles, building timing, and executing against live defenders. That's the foundation for what could become a very different Raiders offense this season. If the deep ball is back in Las Vegas, buckle up. Things are going to get exciting. Let's talk about the most underrated storyline brewing in Raiders camp: the reshaping of the running back room and a potential gem in Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty isn't just showing up, he's standing out. During OTA drills, his burst, hands, and route discipline have sparked conversations. This isn't your typical check-down back. Jeanty looks like he belongs in a system that creates mismatches. Think angle routes, wheel routes, even option routes out of the backfield. Plays that isolate him on a linebacker and let him go to work. The key question: will the Raiders design for him? Not just dump it off as an afterthought, but actively scheme Jeanty into space. That could be the difference between an ordinary rookie campaign and a breakout one. And he's not alone. The Raiders are quietly building a versatile, explosive backfield. Veteran Raheem Mostert brings home run speed and experience in outside zone schemes. We've seen what he can do with just 5 touches, take it 60 yards before anyone even reacts. If the Raiders manage his workload wisely, Mostert could be the spark plug on third downs or misdirection plays. Then there's Zamir White. If you've seen recent footage, you know something's different. He looks leaner, not just in physique, but in movement. Quicker feet, faster acceleration. White's always had strength, but now he's bringing that plus agility. The transformation is obvious, and it could mean a much larger role this season. Together, Jeanty, Mostert, and White give the Raiders something they've lacked in recent years: depth with variety, a blend of power, speed, and versatility. And with a new quarterback under center and a fresh playbook, these backs might not just support the offense, they could define it. The message from camp is clear. The Raiders aren't waiting for one star to carry the load. They're building a unit, and this running back room might quietly become one of the most dangerous in the AFC. Let's talk about one of the biggest question marks and potentially one of the biggest payoffs for the Las Vegas Raiders heading into this season: Christian Wilkins. The latest update on Wilkins' recovery isn't exactly thrilling. The coaching staff has acknowledged that it's been a slow and difficult process, and while there's still time before the season, progress has been anything but straightforward. The word from inside the building? He's putting in the work every day, staying committed, but physically he's just not ready yet. It's not what fans want to hear after the Raiders handed Wilkins one of the richest contracts for a defensive tackle in NFL history. And, naturally, that's going to spark debate. Was it worth it? Is this a case of buying past performance instead of securing future dominance? But here's the reality. Injuries are unpredictable. A Jones fracture is no joke. It can derail even the toughest, most conditioned athletes. Some recover in 4 months. Others, like Wilkins, need more time. The Raiders knew this risk when they signed him. What they're betting on is long-term dominance, not quick fixes. And let's not forget who we're talking about. Wilkins, when healthy, isn't just a solid piece. He's a game wrecker. A true difference-maker in the trenches. A player who commands double teams and still finds ways to disrupt plays. His tape, limited as it was last season, showed flashes of elite-level impact. He wasn't just good, he was special. There's been talk comparing Wilkins' value to Max Crosby. Now, Crosby is the heart and soul of this defense, no doubt. But putting Wilkins in that conversation? That's not disrespect. It's recognition. It means the Raiders could be heading into the season with 2 elite defensive anchors. And that's not something many teams can say. So, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, Raider Nation wants results now. But this is a marathon, not a sprint. If Wilkins gets right, this defense takes a massive step forward. In pass rush, in run defense, and in leadership. That kind of impact doesn't show up in OTA highlight reels. It shows up when it's 3rd and 1 and you need a stop to win the game. The Raiders took a swing. If Wilkins returns to form, they just might have hit a home run.